just clarifying the city's policy about the kind of workplace you want to foster for your employees.
Sure. No, I mean, we work very hard on trying to create an atmosphere that is conducive to being professional. It's okay to have a little fun, but we've eliminated about 13% of our workforce, and people are having to do more. They're not getting raises or bonuses or anything like that, and and there's times where it's going to get a little stressful, be it a grand opening of a historic theater, or whether it's just the amount of work that's trying to get done. And a lot of the positions we've eliminated were administrative type positions, but no, we want to have a good, healthy work environment. It's okay to disagree, but let's do it agreeably, and I think by and large we have that organization here.
You and I have talked in the past regarding totally unrelated situations about the fact that you want your supervisors pretty much to treat their subordinates professionally, and not swear at them, not belittle them and things like that. And I assume that policy is still
Sure.
So now Mick was, according to everything we got, Mick was Dawn Castaneda's supervisor.
That's correct.
Okay. And but in her resignation letter, which they released to the public, Dawn made allegations that Mick had treated her unprofessionally, essentially, and that he swore at her and caused her life to be miserable, so to speak. And did you find any truth to those allegations?
And again, I was out last week, so I haven't, seen the final report. I think there is some debate on just, the amount of it or the intensity of it. But we're gonna look at everything as we do and make some decisions.
I didn't understand then why Mick was removed from supervising the Elks.
Well, there was some legal issues going on, and I think anytime you have somebody who is a part of allegations to have that person removed, just so it's fair to the individual, it's fair to the others there. I don't want anybody feeling like they can't come forward. I don't want anybody to feel like that this is a witch hunt on anybody. But I think, just as for everybody's benefit, I think you need to get the person out of that situation, so that everything can, that needs to come out can, and people don't feel hesitant about speaking up.
Are you he's still supervising other people in other areas, correct? Yeah. Are you concerned about that?
No. And other folks have been asked. And there was nothing there that would substantiate me making these, further changes there.
So now, does Mick get a pay cut because doesn't have the same responsibilities, or his responsibilities just been kind of switched around?
We're still looking at that. Again, I want to see the final report. I want to see all the information before I do anything. Further permanent. You're talking about a person's career here. You're talking about they have rights too. We all have rights.
That's right.
And so, in the spirit of fairness, I want to just wait till I get all the information and have a chance to review it and think about it.
I read something about some wedding planner that's on the staff of the Elks Theater. Are you aware of anything along those lines? Why would the Elks want a wedding planner on staff?
Well, I think she's not just a wedding planner. She's there helping book events, whether it's weddings, whether it's performances, whether it's, a small company doing a retreat of some type. So the person is there to book events.
Okay, so really her title isn't wedding planner, it's more event booker or something like that.
Event planner, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, what's Colette's position? I saw her name in some of these letters, and again, I'm coming at this kind of pretty much from the outside. I have no idea what the workings of it is.
She handles the business operations side, which, is the contracts, it's, scheduling, it's making sure that what do the people need, Do they need to be in there 2 days before, 1 day, the day of? Just mainly tying all the loose ends together. Don was more of the operations, the rigging, the lighting, the sound mixer, and all those kind of things.
Okay.
So you've got, and she's Colette is part-time.
Okay. And how long has Colette been with the theater?
I'm going to say 4, 5, 6 months.
And was that a position that was advertised and the whole normal procedures gone through on that? So, what was Dawn's official status? Was she a permanent employee, a temporary employee? I mean,
for years she was a temporary employee. 1 week she may work 30 hours, 1 week it may be 10 hours, 1 week it may not be anything. The last month she was a full-time benefited employee.
Now, I read, I'm pretty sure in the police report, that she'd been given a company or city credit card for for $15,000 credit limit.
I'm not. She did have a credit card, to my knowledge, but I don't know what the limit.
Because that, I mean, isn't it unusual to give credit cards to temporary employees?
Well, no, she was full-time.
She was full-time when she was given the card?
Like I said, I'm not sure exactly when she got the card.
Yeah, I think it was back in December because they were citing purchases that were made in 2009.
Oh, okay. Well, a lot of times it depends on the nature of the position. This one is, there's a lot of prep. There's a lot of things that go into, whether it's stacking the, I guess a concession stand. We've got, employees out there that have a little bit unique jobs, not just buying office supplies. And again, there's a lot of prep that goes into any show. So.
And you don't know if it was like $15,000. Now, if she made a purchase, did she have to get Mick's signature on that to approve it, or how did that work?
I believe ultimately there is some approval that, you turn in a receipt and then, you say that yes, this was used for city business and the nature of it, and then it's signed off on. That's not the time to fight, because once you make a payment or, you buy something, now if you can show that it was, illegally charged, you can go back to the bank and they'll remove it. But typically, it does go through the process, and the finance ultimately pays the bill.
What happens now? Where do you go from here? I know Lori is going to be acting supervisor at this point. Is that a permanent situation?
Probably not going to be permanent. It's just something until we can get past all these issues here and see where it stands. But again, I want to read, the background, the research, because I'm going to have to make some decisions too.
So really, this matter, you don't consider the matter to be totally settled yet at this point?
Not at this point.
And are there events booked at the theater right now?
And we've got, I think, 1 Friday night and 2 Saturday, matinee, and the evening, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So it's still, we're still booking it. We're still, doing shows, and we'll keep going that way.
Some people have expressed the point of view that this is kind of a good example of why maybe the city shouldn't be involved in the arts business, so to speak. How do you feel about that?
We're in a lot of different businesses. Are you going to have bumps along the way, or there's going to be things that don't go as planned? Of course. Anytime you have 500 employees and a $100 million company, there's going to be issues. Is this something that necessarily means we shouldn't be in the arts business? I don't think so. I think that's more of a philosophical approach. Should the city be in the arts? I think it does impact us on what we can and can't do. We can't do the same things as a private company, but you can make that same argument for sanitation. You can make that same argument for golf. We're in a lot of different businesses.
Who's doing the booking now? Who's running the Elks Theater underneath Lori's supervision? How's all that kind of playing out at this point? Are you looking for new employees?
Mainly temporary. I think we're going to really look at the entire operation from top to bottom to see if this is something, could we contract this out and have somebody run it. This is not a money maker. I don't think you see too many private people running theaters because it's tough to make a living, especially when you got a 500 seat. This is not a 2,000 seat venue. And when you have 500 seats, it does create a whole new set of challenges.
Are you... Is the theater here for the benefit of people in the community for performances, or for people coming outside, outside coming in? I mean, what's kind of your perspective on the Elks Theater?
Well, I think I think it serves both. I mean, I think it is a draw for downtown. We do, tourists do come up here to see events, but it also has to be, available for the community. And our pricing structure is more expensive than Mile High, but it's less expensive than Yavapai College. So I think we've got it priced, I think, competitively. We're not giving it away, and we weren't given that mandate either. You do have certain costs that it takes to run the theater, but I think it can be, a fully functioning tourist to bring people outside to the community, and also for community theater. The Prescott Fine Arts Association, they have a different market. They've got about 120 seats, so they can do things differently than we can. We can't operate that like Yavapai Performance Hall. It is a historic theater. It's I think been very well received, and it's definitely a community asset.
So looking back on everything, I mean, kind of what are your feelings about all that's transpired recently, and are you concerned, are you hopeful, or, sad? I mean...
anytime you have an issue like this, obviously it's unfortunate. It's not something you wanted to happen, but at the same time, it's going to be dealt with fairly. It's going to, it's not just going to fade off. We've got a very functioning and very vibrant theater, and we're going to continue to promote it. We're going to continue to market it. We're going to, continue doing shows, and we'll get it all behind us.